Awesome. We are officially live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chiropractic Compass podcast brought to you by the legendary Chiropractor online community. I am so happy to be here. We are right on time. We are crushing it. We are in the middle of this gorgeous, gorgeous day here in Atlanta. I'm sure where you're at, Doc, it's probably pretty nice there as well. And I know you're busy, and I want to first off thank you for giving me some of your time, some of your energy. And I'm so honored to be sitting down with Dr. David Touhill today, talking all about big things and key components that we can go into as students right now and take action on in order to be the best and most successful we can in practice right out day one of the gate. So this will be kind of a Q&A. Dr. David and I were just talking off camera a little bit. Like, this is totally a Q&A, open for any questions. Please drop them in the comments. They'll populate to my screen, and I will get them as quickly as I can to Dr. Touhill, and we will do everything in our power to answer them for you. So, without further ado, Doc, I would love to give you the floor, let you say your piece, where you come from, how you got into chiropractic, and then how you really took social media marketing to the next level for not only chiropractors but all health practitioners. So go ahead and talk about yourself for a little bit.
Yeah, man. It's an honor to be on here. I've seen what you've been doing. This is great, and I love these conversations. I love conversations about how we can do things better. And so, for me, my journey into chiropractic, I became a chiropractor in 2016 through the encouragement of my brother-in-law and other people, and just really fell in love with holistic health, holistic medicine, specifically chiropractic and what it could do for people. And during that time, actually, I met Dr. Josh Axon. He was just getting out of school. And that kind of started a process of me starting to learn the marketing side of things. And I actually worked as the marketing director for my brother-in-law's office as well here in Nashville during that time. And I really started to fall in love with how to get people into businesses, right? How to get people into practices with understanding the message of health and healing and how important this message is that we have. And so really, I graduated and I had been working with actually Dr. Dan Sullivan at the time on kind of a little side hustle while I was in school to pay some of the bills. And when I graduated, I started working in practice, really loved it. But also at the same time, I loved the marketing side. And, through a lot of just prayer and really asking God, hey, what was the best thing? What's the best thing you have for me? What should I focus on right now? It really exposed the marketing side. And so I had to kind of fight with the fact that, hey, I just went through school to become a chiropractor, and I've been, practiced for a year and a half. And I had to really think about, like, if this is what I was put on this earth to do, like, I'm going to go and do this. And so, hey, maybe I'm not, I kind of had to give up the fact that I wouldn't be adjusting all the time, but I was going to be getting more people into offices, right? And so the funny thing is, it ended up turning into, I started working with Ancient Nutrition pretty soon after that, and they got a chiropractic table in the office, and I actually adjusted the team for about a year and a half, and there was about 120, 130 staff over there at Ancient Nutrition. So it was, it ended up, really turning into something that, I think that partly why, Ancient Nutrition does so well is we're well adjusted. We had a very well adjusted team. So, so that's kind of the journey of where I am now. Now what I do is I work with, obviously Dr. Axe, I mentioned that, and Ancient Nutrition. I've worked with Regenex, with doTERRA, other major health brands, and really helping to architect some major launches and major growth in their businesses. And so actually, currently right now, actually working with Dr. Dan Sullivan, the chiropractor, and we're working with health businesses on really expanding into more of a brand online. Because that's my expertise, and that's what I've really developed to be great at. And again, people ask me, last thing I'll say is people ask me, should you have gone to chiropractic school, or did you have to go to that? Did you have to spend all that money to go? And I would say 1,000 times over, I'd do it 1,000 times again, the same exact way. I think, chiropractic, the message of chiropractic is really, I think, I believe on the forefront of the natural health push. And obviously we're under a lot of pressure right now and a lot of tough times when it comes to natural health, especially with digital media and censorship. We can talk about that here in a little bit. So I feel like I'm blessed to be here and blessed to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really cool. And like I told you off camera, it's an honor to have you on the show. You and Dr. Ed Sullivan have been my biggest influences when it comes to creating online content.
Thanks,
and just being present online. And Jim Chester likes to say being omnipresent, being in front of everybody as much as you possibly can and all over the place all the time. It's like that's the ultimate goal, that's the ultimate dream, and hopefully your message is attractive to multiple thousands of people, and hopefully it draws in larger crowds so that you can get not only the message of chiropractic out there, but also how important, it is to do something like you and I are doing and like you have done for so many other businesses, like you mentioned in your introduction. So I'm honored to have you on the show, Doc. I'm so pumped to dive into this topic today.
Yeah,
and
man.
Quickly, I want to encourage everybody watching this right now to head to thelegendarychiropractor.com either right now or after the video. And check out everything chiropractic that we have to offer. It's an amazing, amazing site, and we're trying to be the virtual one-stop shop for everything chiropractic. And I think we're well on our way to doing that. We're just over 4.5 months into this, and it's been a wild ride so far. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. And but let's get into the nitty-gritty here. The topic of today, we're gonna bring in censorship of social media. Obviously, I do want to talk about that, but like we talked about a little bit prior to getting started here was, how do chiropractic students build their digital platforms prior to graduating so that they can be successful and even more successful than their predecessors, right? I want to talk a lot about that. So tell us, like, let's go through like steps. Talk to us about like a couple things that we can do right now or tomorrow or after this podcast that we can implement and start doing. Like if you don't have a Facebook page, start that, like all that stuff. So what's square one, step one?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just making a couple notes down here if you see me look down. So yeah, I think really step one, I think one of the things that, everybody talks about social media and why it's important, and I'm here to tell you, and I think we all agree, as chiropractic students, social media and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, like all these things especially TikTok. I mean, this is the marketing of the future. So in the past, it was, in the not too distant past, it was newspaper and church bulletins and word of mouth. Now it's really, really turned into, as you guys know, like you find your things online. I mean, dude, I don't leave the house. Like my stuff gets delivered to my house, my food gets delivered to my house. Everybody, like, it's like we're used to getting things coming to us and making decisions either on our phone or on our computer. And so the marketing really has very drastically moved online. And so I think as students, I was telling Johnny earlier, is that I think you have a advantage because you grew up in this technology age. And I say that I don't say that lightly because I honor the docs that are in place right now, but I think that we really have a very strategic advantage as millennials understanding technology and growing up in technology, that it gives us a little edge. But the thing is, even though we have that little edge and we're like, oh, we'll just do it, or we can just do it, or I'll do that when I get in. The thing is that it's not a game that you just go and you play and it's you get quick results. It's something that you build over time. It's almost like a business that you can start building now. And so for that business of social media and marketing for your practice, which is so important when you get in practice, you guys already know this, but when you get in practice, like, you'll learn how to adjust like pretty fast. Like a lot of people come in, they're like, adjust me, and you're like, and you just like, you were good, but you get pretty good like pretty fast. So like one thing before I even get started on here, I will just say this. I think in school there was a tendency for people to have to go to tons of events and have to go to every club and be a part of Let me just tell you right now, the best thing that you can learn how to do is number one, start to like spend time thinking about what you want your future practice to be, really visualizing what your future practice is going to be, and then start to look at those types of practices and start to build relationships with people that own those types of practices, right? And instead of going on to all these different events to learn 12 different techniques and again, obviously I'm over exaggerating, but learn every single different way to communicate, really start to dive into get a hands-on to practices and things that you'd like to have in your practice, your type of patient, whether it's a family practice or you're going to focus on a specific type of chronic condition, or maybe you go into functional medicine in the future and you combine chiropractic with other things, whatever that's going to be, I would just recommend that get good at adjusting and learn how to adjust for sure. Like in student clinic, if you're in student clinic, get good numbers. Don't just, that's the one thing, get a lot of people in there, do some marketing for that. That's good. But really focusing on really getting to know the people getting to know people. We don't do a good enough job as millennials of shadowing people and getting wise counsel. And we kind of think that, we're going to do it on our own. We figure that, hey, so we have this, like I said before, we have this leverage point where we can be extra successful. But I would say first things first is really with your time. You need to start thinking about what are you doing with your time. Because again, if you want to start, like Johnny, for you, I know for you as doing this podcast, you're it's quite a lot of work, to kind of get this going and push you off. And that is part of number 2 that I'm going to go through. Number 2 that I'll go through here in a minute, but it's going to take time to do this. So you need to be using your time wisely and modeling others. If you're a student right now, or even a doctor, go into your social media feed and start following docs that have really strong videos, right? And I usually try to repost them. But actually, groups like Epic Pediatric Chiropractic Today, that's a great group to get up-to-date content. But you want to look and follow people that are interacting with, or trying to meet their patients where they are and do social media that way. So that's really step 1, is start to model people and use your time wisely in what your free time outside of school is. The next thing I would say is, after modeling them, is you need to get comfortable on video. That's just our communication platform now is video. And again, it's funny that I'm saying this, dude, because partially people are like, what's the strategy? How many hashtags? It's no, dude, all that stuff doesn't matter if you absolutely are afraid of seeing yourself on video. And when you need to do a video, it takes you 35 minutes, 40 minutes to prepare for a short social media video. Right. Because that will absolutely destroy you. So getting comfortable on video, going live, doing what you're doing right now, just jump on. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Someone's going to do a sad face on the thing. It's nothing bad is going to happen. But getting comfortable on video is, and again, it can also come out in speaking in front of people at in groups and clubs and stuff like that. But getting comfortable on video is so important because everything marketing revolves around video right now. I think something like 89% of ads are video, or some stat around that, where a great portion of the ads that are used that are actually converting are video ads. So ads, but then also traffic. People are you're more apt to watch it. Think about it. You're going through Instagram, you'll see a picture real quick, but you're just going to keep swiping. You're not looking for context. The video is what actually allows people to get to know you and know what your business is about. And so getting comfortable being on video is so important, especially as a student, because then once you're in practice, I'll tell you guys a tip. This is a gold tip right here, and then I'll throw it back to you.
You got it.
Is when your patients, when you have patients in your office, right? And you have patients, and they're always talking about, I have my friend Angela, she needs to come, she comes check us out. Or you could even ask them, hey, is there anybody else that that's dealing with headaches? And maybe they're saying that their headaches are getting better. Is there anybody else that that is dealing with headaches? And they say, yeah, I got this friend Angela. It's great. Let me just, if you want to, I can make a quick video on your phone and just invite her to the office. We have the ability to send a video to someone that might be interested in our office, and how's that person going to feel? Her friend Angela, wow, this doctor's, really good looking, and he's got a great bit. No, I'm just kidding. This doctor, though, took the time to. That was a complete joke, and we don't have to be compliant on this call. That doctor took the time to say, hey, I want you to come and see us. I'd love to see you. So I think, and I'll close with this. People. Right now, there's a very interesting climate, and we'll talk about censorship in a bit because this ties into this, but people are not happy with how their doctors are treating them. The overall consensus. If you ask, I think I saw a poll where there was, they asked a bunch, do you have complete trust in your doctor? It's no, not really. And also there's a lot of people going through that model. It's a sick model, and so it leads to kind of like you're just a number in the system, and you kind of go to the next thing, you get this thing, and you go on. And there's people that really want to seek the truth of why are they not unhealthy, what's going wrong with them. And so the fact that someone would go out of their way to make a video and post it just to Facebook or go live or go send a video to a patient, like, guys, this is the future. Like 5 years 5 years from now, people will be like, oh, I send videos to patients all the time. And it'd be like, we talked about it on the legendary Chiropractor.
That's
back
right.
in 19. So yeah, so video is really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love those two steps. I can't wait to get into more. I want to recap for people that are just hopping on or just tuning in. And we're live with Dr. David Touhill. If you're not familiar with him, he's a chiropractor. He's an online digital marketer. I like to call him digital entrepreneur. And it's really about creating a space for yourself, for your patients, and for your followers that they really enjoy and are attracted to. And the message that you're saying, the passion that you're showing, all is portrayed through what he said last, which is video. And you can portray all of this through video content. And I want to go back to step one. Step one was model and be smart with your time. Modeling people, going in, and you said, you can go to all the events you want in the world and you can pay all this money and do all these things. Well, what's free? What's free is going into a doctor's office, shadowing them, right, learning from them, the business, the marketing, the communication, all of that live in the office. And then, but I would also argue, and I'm sure you would agree with me on this, like you were mentioning, like start following people in your category. Start following people in your profession or your niche or like whatever your ideal client looks like. Start following the people that are attracting your clients, right? Like start where one of our professors said the other day, is like, how do you attract your ideal client? He said, you got to go where they are. And you know what? You got to be, and I'll apply that to the virtual world too. You don't only have to, like if you're attracting a specific client that goes to yoga studios and smoothie shops, you don't only have to be at those yoga studios and smoothie shops. You also have to be online in those yoga studio and smoothie shop groups, on those pages, interacting with those people. You have to be doing those things. So you can find what I like. I loved your phrase here was wise counsel. You can find wise counsel and people that can be virtual. I call them virtual mentors that are doing what you want to do in the category or niche or market that you're trying to tap into, online and in person.
Yeah, and one thing, just to touch on that in terms of wise counsel, this is how you know wise counsel from unwise counsel. People that have not done it but are telling you how to do it, avoid those people. So look at the fruit of what people are saying. I mean, this goes from if you're a current doc and looking for Facebook ads people, or if you're a student that's looking to for advice on growing your social media or growing your ads. There's a lot of people that have a lot of thoughts and things that they like to say. Hey, this is how this thing works. This is how these things. I'll just tell you this. Like, first off, if they said it more than 3 months or 4 months ago, I'll say, even for Google, or if you're talking about Google or getting right, like they changed everything. So whatever you learned, it's now different. It's a constant process of educating yourself, listening to podcasts like this, and educating yourself, and starting to get a feel of what's legitimate, what's not legitimate. You got to kind of know what's working, what's not working, and who's doing well and who's not. Mm-hmm. But be very wary and just ask the question, like, if someone is not doing well or they haven't done it before and they're telling you how to do it, I would avoid that. And the reason I say this is it's kind of I just a lot of people in chiropractic that are doing that hey, they may have something that worked for them, but it doesn't. That's not going to necessarily work for you. What people were successful with 3 months ago won't work for you because you're unique and you have your own unique message, and your own unique way of doing things. That just be wary of who you listen to, and kind of cross check. And I'm not saying you need to be kind of negative towards. Because I think some people have a negative feeling towards digital marketing. The truth is, it's going that way. We have to learn it and be a part of it. Just be careful of courses and people. I'm not saying all courses are bad, but I think at the end of the day, just be wary of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And being consciously aware of, if you start getting in these certain circles and these groups, like I mean, I've put myself in these certain groups and circles, and it's like, yeah, I can pick out, the new people or the people who have been around the block a couple times, the struggles they've been through and all that stuff. And, you kind of start seeing the truth and the not truth, right? And
look at the results.
Exactly. And it's easy to find nowadays because online is easier than ever to find anything out that you want to find out. Like, that will either agree with you or disagree with you. You can find both arguments in like a split second. And I'm pretty sure Google still has on their top of their search bar like the amount of time it took to pull up however many results. So it's like if you type in, did the Bears win last night, which they didn't, unfortunately, which is really sad. But did the Bears win last night?
Good game.
I know. And it was like, it says like 0.2222 seconds to find however many millions of results or something crazy.
Right.
And it's
just a lot of opinions.
Exactly. And there's so many opinions and so many people with contradicting opinions rather. So find who's speaking your message and who's a like-minded person and who's in your camp, so to speak. And I want to go off of this authenticity and say that I think like we talk about online marketing and you're like, this is the way it's going. We have to go with it. And I agree with you 100%. And I also believe that some people might be sitting out there questioning and saying, hey, you two, you're doing the digital marketing thing, but also what about that? How do you keep that authenticity? How do you keep that real relationship building going? And I would argue that you can do that online. Would you agree with me with that one, Doc?
Yeah, I think people think that social media is something where you just go online and you post videos on what you think is important. And I think that it's really about relationship at the end of the day.
Yes.
Looking in someone in the eyes and knowing that, hey, I believe in my heart that I can help you. And again, I'll bring up Josh again here for a minute. If you look at his videos and watch his content and how he does things, and I know him as like personally very well, he is that person behind the scenes. So it's like he's not just putting up a front or coming up with a great marketing message to try to get people to tie in. The authenticity comes from, man, I love this so much. Like it wakes me up in the morning and I'm so excited because I know I can get you better and I can make your life better. But it comes deep down. We see people all day long. I mean, like literally we're scrolling all day long and seeing different faces. Oh, people want to capture my attention here, right? It's what we're doing. And if it has this or this. But one of the things I'll say that I've noticed is that people that know what they're talking about and that are convicted of it and believe in it and speak into people versus just, oh, here's 5 points to help you with good gut. You do this. Like really like understand there's another person on the other line. It's not like just a number on the screen of views. Like it's another person. And so when I say like, and part of it's going back to what I said on getting good on video, it's as you get more comfortable with just talking about what you're passionate about, it's already going to come through, right? So like you don't need to come up with new content or bullets. I mean, that can be helpful to have like three key points, but you don't need to script out an entire video because it's the same conversations you're having with your patients. It's the same conversation. Hey doc, I got this pain right here. And it's radiating down into my leg and it's into my toes. I'm getting numbness in my toes. Maybe that you're in your practice or you're in student clinic and you get that question. A great video to do is, first off, is I just have a list of things and I write all those things down. But then I answer her obviously, but then I go into practice and I answer and I go online and I record a video and I say, are you someone that's dealing with, back pain that's radiating into toes 1 and 2? Let me tell you about why that's happening and what you can do, and just say, hey, there's really a lot of hope for you because that actually, it oftentimes stems from actually a nerve in the neck. And that's, that could be causing that, radiating pain. So, we'd love to see you. We've seen so many people, and then maybe posting a testimonial about that afterwards when that patient gets that awesome result. So, but it's about relationship. It's not like you want to build a relationship with these people and not with your potential patients and not just I'm doing this for the sake of marketing.
Right. Yes, 100%. So I'm glad you actually brought back up the video because that brings me into talking about step 2, and that's being comfortable on video, Dr. Touhill said. And there are so many benefits to being comfortable on video, doing what we're doing right now. Understanding why this is so important is another aspect of that. So it's the fact of the matter is I love this process of, documenting your way to success. Right? You have to document everything that you're doing. And that's true in any area of chiropractic, we could say, or of life, right? If you want to take good notes on something, if you want to learn something new, you should take good notes. If you want to help a patient the best you can. You're going to track their care. You're going to document their care. If you want to be a good online digital marketer for your practice or for personal benefit, you need to document your way there. And that is through video. Like you said, 80+% of advertising nowadays is video. And now I want to ask this, Doc, is let's talk about how important it is, because the videos and the engagement with the videos is so high right now in Facebook ads and Google ads and YouTube and all that stuff. Talk to us a little bit about like retargeting those ideal clients, and what kind of techniques and strategies can people use to really hone their message in on the right people.
Yeah, I mean, and are you referring to you want me to cover organic and then cover paid ads?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So, for organic, what I usually do for organic and kind of continue to reach that audience. So I'll give you a little technology jargon. Every time, or a little algorithm jargon, every time you post something on Facebook or Instagram, it gets sent out to a small percentage of your friends, right? Or your followers, right? Small percentage of your followers. And based on how they respond, it says, oh, this is good stuff. We're going to send it out to more. Right. And it also has to do with, how did this compare with previous posts that you've done? They always want to see that you're growing. If they can see that you're growing, then it's like, ooh, this is good content. Let's show it to more people. It's going to show up in the Explore page more. Your hashtags are going to be stronger because you get more traffic. So giving people content, so having actually a strategy for content is important, and not just, especially for organic content, instead, not just, like we said, just spraying bullets and throwing a bunch of videos.
Right.
So what I usually do is I set up a plan for, I'll go into this. I essentially have 4 tiers, 4 tiers of the kind of the understanding pathway. And bear with me if you're on here, bear with me, because this actually makes really good sense. But there's essentially 4 levels. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 in terms of awareness. So level 1 is someone that doesn't know that they have severe degeneration in their neck, has no pain, and they don't know that it even exists because there's no pain, right? They have no clue. There's no pain, and they're not. It doesn't affect their activities of daily living, right? So for those level 1s in the marketing triangle, we pretty much just avoid those, right? Because until something happens, it's gonna be very hard to target them because they don't have the pain. So it's like it's hard to reach them. Level 2 is they know that they have a problem, but they don't know that your solution exists, right? So they have that neck pain, but all they're thinking is either surgery, Advil, pain meds, right? If you're a chiro. So that's your level 2. And I'm gonna explain how you're gonna market to each of these people once I go through all 4. Level 3 is, and again, now it's more, level 3 is they know they have a problem. They know that chiropractic exists and may help that problem. So maybe they've had a friend that had good reviews. Maybe they've got referred from a patient, but they haven't quite made the step to say, oh, I'm going to schedule an appointment. By the way, that's a great place to plug in those, hey, this is Dr. Dave. Would love to have you at the office video, right? And sending it to them. But whether it's trusting themselves that they're going to follow through on the care, they have the time for the care, they'll be able to afford the care, that you actually, know what you're doing, and you're going to be able to help them specifically with their, doc, when you're in office, with that low back pain that's radiating to toes 1 and 2 from a football injury that I had 30 years ago, but I just got in a car accident. Now it's like everybody has their own unique thing, right? So they have whatever their thing is, there's a level of trust that they don't have, whether it's themselves or with you. They're level 3. Level 4, again, this is essentially the entire population. Level 4, these 4 encompass the entire population, but level 4 is the low-hanging fruit. People that know they have a problem, they're looking for a good doc, and you're literally like, here I am, And so it's like, ideally, we want a lot of level 4s, right? But the process is, this is actually what we call a funnel. Right. And so using social media and organic social media, just like you would use a regular sales funnel, is important, because sales funnels is to create more awareness, to give them something that they need. Right. I don't believe in selling stuff because they don't need it. And I believe that chiropractic is a need. So we're building a sales funnel essentially through our social media to get people to understand, let them that we understand their need. They can trust us. They'll get the result, and we're ready to receive you. Right. So again, for level 1, we cross them out. We don't worry about them. For level 2, And by the way, if you guys are listening, I'll send over Johnny a PDF on this, on how this works and how the funnel works, if you guys would like that, and kind of specific details on this. So if you guys are really like this, but you're like, hey, I want to see it visually, I have a PDF I'll send over to you.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Post it to the page.
Yeah.
But level two, so level two is they have a problem. They don't know your solution exists. That's where you go into solution type videos. Just like I explained earlier, hey, do you have that sciatic pain that's radiating to toes 1 and 2? Let me know that we can, or let me tell you 4 things that you can do to start to reduce that pain, right? And again, I'm giving some pain-based things, but you can use other things, asthma, right? All these, there's a lot of other different things that you can do. Are you dealing with chronic asthma? Here's 4 things that you can do. And whenever you go through those 4 things, maybe thing number 1 or number 2 or number 3 is chiropractic, right? And so you're essentially giving them, because you want to give people wins, right? You want to show people, you want to help people trust you when you help them, right? So those level 2s is like, you just want to just help them out, right? You want to let them know about you. Hey, this is Dr. Dave, local here in Green Hills, Nashville, Tennessee. And I want to talk to you about sciatic pain. Okay, so you're in Green Hills. Oh, I have sciatic pain? Okay, I'm starting to become interested, right? That's your level 2. Once they watch that video and they've seen that video, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 of those type videos, you're going to go into level 3, which is, okay, I'm kind of interested in what you guys got going on over there, but I have some concerns, right? And I have some concerns. That's where posting videos that you get from patients on through the process of onboarding to care. So through the exam 1, exam 2, however you set it up, questions that people ask, how much does it cost? How long will it take? All those different things. That's where you can really use those things to kind of let them know, kind of beat down those things that they maybe were concerned about from the beginning, and let them know. And again, I'm going to wrap this in a nice bow at the end, so you guys, I think it'll be very effective. But you kind of want to give them, a little bit more about the office. You can even introduce them to the staff. You can, but really the focus there is questions that patients get during the onboarding process, questions you get on Facebook, like all those. That's your audience asking you questions. Break down all those walls of questions they might have that are making them not just take that final step to come and schedule an appointment. Yes. That's what those level 3s are. And then level 4, it's really a call to action. Hey, we're ready to have you come in. Here's a tour of our office. We're doing a patient appreciation day. Here's a tour of our office. Things like that. More tours and more. Now you're in relationship. Level 4s, we're friends. We're good now. Yeah. And so you can kind of have more of that type communication. So to wrap this up, we have these 4 levels of awareness, right? We're getting rid of 1. So we have 2, 3, and 4. Well, those are the 3 types of content. So whenever you put out content on social media for organic reach, retargeting, make sure that they fit one of those 3 categories, right? Because everybody's going through the funnel. It's not like all of a sudden they see a video on how you can help them with their asthma, and all of a sudden they're like, all right, I'm coming in for an appointment. No, they see that video, they maybe see a second video on that, they may see a testimonial, and that's another thing that you can do. So in level 3, but essentially all your videos, it could even be a 1-to-1. So every week it needs to be a video that's more of a understanding a video to let them know, understand about how to get better from, better results from asthma, or how to help heal from, chronic back pain, whatever it is. You can help them with posture, talk about, okay, you got to improve your posture, you got to do this, you got to do this. Oh, by the way, chiropractic, if your spine's not aligned, then even if you do posture corrections, it's going to, explain that on the video. That's a level 2 video. A level 3 video is either a testimony, right? You're breaking down those, or questions that you get during onboarding, during bring them on, whether it's marketing questions at the beginning, whether it's insurance questions. Just let people know. People are nervous of coming in, but when you can break down those barriers, those are your level 3s. And then level 4s is you've already broken down the barriers. We're ready to come in, give them an offer, And so, I would say probably, if you're posting, I suggest that offices post 6 times a week, once a day, except for, you can choose one day off. So you're essentially going to post, I would say post 2 posts with the level 2, so 2 more educational posts, 2 posts with the level 3, which two more how our process works at our office posts, and 1 level 4 post, which is we're ready for you to come in, right? So hopefully that was helpful from the organic side. My point is that you don't just do general, oh, here's a bunch of stuff on vaccines, and this is how I feel. Oh, and then here's what I had for dinner last night. Oh, and here's, it's like, No, like people are tuning in. Last thing I'll say on this, because this is I'm obviously very passionate about it. When people tune into your social media, they are tuning into a channel. Just like you tune into ESPN, or we tuned into, I think ESPN. What was the game on last night?
I don't really know, honestly.
Anyways,
I watched it online.
But if we tuned into the Bears game last night and it was like Bears game is going on and then like it turned into like cat videos, at least Johnny, we would be pissed, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and we'd probably be like, I don't want to watch that channel anymore. Why are they talking about cat videos? That's like you talking about how we're going to help you with your chronic, asthma. And then all of a sudden talking about your dogs. It's like, don't talk about your dogs. Like if you're, what I'm saying, like however cute they are. And even if they got a lot of likes, you'll get a lot of likes from people that are your friends or people that know you, but it's scaring off the people that actually have ailments that they want you to help. So remember that, but then also remember people are tuning into a channel. And honestly, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are taking over cable news if you don't know that already. So that's a huge, I have YouTube TV. Streaming services are taking over these cable TV stations and these satellite stations. Like we watch YouTube and we watch Facebook, and that's how we navigate. So it's becoming more of that, especially with things like YouTube TV. So this is just important to know.
Absolutely, man. Oh man, I took 2 pages of notes there because you're on fire. This is amazing, and again, all of you tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. We got a question, and I'll get to it after I break down what you said, because it's so important for people to understand this. Like you have to understand and go back and watch this and listen to this over and over and over again, and this can literally set the game plan for your marketing strategy for your practice someday. Like this video right now can absolutely do that for you. And I guarantee you, I will be going back and watching this again and taking all of the knowledge that Dr. Touhill has shared with us and applying it to our marketing, my future practice marketing plan, because it's what we have to be doing. So I want to bring this into the picture, Doc. I want to talk about, so you said there are 4 levels or 4 tiers of awareness that potential future patients have, and it's kind of a funnel-based system. And level 1 is they don't feel anything, they have it, but they're not aware of it, and we vote them out, right? And then we have level 2, 3, and 4, and those are the levels we want to stay into. Now, if you missed that and you're just hopping on now, you can go back and watch that. But level 2, 3, and 4 are the most important. Those are your 3 types of content that you have to be creating around. And everyone, like you said, goes through this funnel, right? It's not just, you don't just target different people and this is, I like how you said that. Do you want me to break down or organic or paid ads? And I'm glad you went with the organic, because it's like, this is what people can be doing now in school in order to build, for free, in order to build their platform for their chiropractic practice if they're opening up right away. And so I love that you said that. And I wrote this in huge capital letters and circled it. And the main point here, guys, is at the very end, Dr. Touhill touched on, you have to stay on brand. You can't just go ahead.
Hey, real quick, while you go on this, I'm going to grab my charger. I'm listening on my headset, but keep rolling, cool. And I'm going to go grab my charger real quick.
You got it. So Dr. Touhill broke down and said, stay on brand. This is so important and critical for us to understand. Like he was saying, you can't just throw out a bunch of health tips and awareness tips and facts about chiropractic, about health and healing and natural healthcare and whatever other political arguments you want to get into and vaccines or whatever. And then you show a picture of your puppies or your kids or, your family. And it's like, that's not, like he was saying, if we were watching the Bears game last night and all of a sudden ESPN was like, hey, we're going to show a video of cats right now. Like, that's not at all what we want to see. That's not, it would piss us off as viewers. It would piss us off as patients. And you're, like he said, you're pushing away all of the potential clients that could be coming into your office. And I love that
if it's questionable content, post it to your story.
Yes.
So like if you just ran 12 miles yesterday, post it to your story. Let people know that you're active and maybe give them a call to action of get outside today, So it's Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, and I like how you called it questionable content, and that goes to your story. Why? Because it expires in 24 hours. If you want it back and take it out of the archives and put it in a highlight, you can. But it's like, that's the fact of, I don't think you can do that yet on Facebook, but Instagram definitely allows you to do that.
And it also lets you know, like, if you had a lot of people interact with it and they really liked it, then it's like, okay, this is more content. You can almost use your story as kind of your testing site, but also use your stories. Obviously, people want to get to know you. That's what you use stories for, is they get to know you, but within the context of your brand. So like, it's not just to talk about like, oh, I'm a marathon runner and I run this many miles and I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. It's like, no, what does this mean to you? Like what am I thinking about that, going from a content consumer, right? We're just consuming content all day, to a content creator, and thinking about, hey, how can I make this current thing that's happening right now, how can I share this with more people? Because right, when you share something to Facebook, all of a sudden this experience that you're having, or that maybe you're seeing something, or you're with a patient, right? And you're like, hey, you had this amazing result. Like, you got to take a video of that, like you need to let other people know about it. So whenever you see something as a content creator, you start to build a lens of, and this is as you start to follow people that are doing things that you love, because you're like, ooh, that's cool. It's cool. I could do that. I could do that. You start to see those things. It's not hard to come up with content. You start to see, like I'm in digital architect and design for sort of digital brands, and I was watching the football game and I'm like, man, this is just a coaching battle. And I was like, man, how does it's so similar to how we grow our business. And I called Dan Sullivan. I was like, because we're doing a podcast today after this, and I was like, dude, we got to do this thing on coaching and strategy because it's just so good. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we're gonna do that this afternoon. But it's being a content consumer, consuming content in a way that you can start to create kind of and see ideas and see opportunities to create really cool interactive content that's really going to set you apart.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And I broke it down into like questionable content or things that you want that are a little bit more personal, you share on your story. And then you can kind of split test that or test that material like you were saying. And you're like, oh, that really got a lot of hits, or that got a lot of likes, or that got, that did this, it got a lot of direct messages and stuff. And now you're like, okay, people seem to really like that, but it's still on brand. It's not just a random picture of your pets and then families loving it. It's like
video.
Oh, exactly. It's a video. You ran a marathon. Here's what Chiropractic enabled me to do in this marathon, during this marathon, whatever health practitioner office you're running. And then you're able to apply that, like, oh, maybe I'll make a video for my actual news feed about that. And then if people like it that much, they'll actually engage with it on the news feed. And so I really like that you said that. And then it's a way, and I was going to ask you about this, because in digital marketing, we love to mix personal and professional all the time. And I want to hear your truest opinions on this. Like, is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And then how do we go about doing that? Is it just through stories, or are we trying to do both at the same time on the same page, right?
Yeah, so we're busy. I usually say you have one page, and if you really use social media to connect with your friends, have that be your personal Facebook page. Let your friends know they can connect with you on your personal Facebook page. And if you want to share stuff from your Instagram to whatever, but if they want to interact with you personally and share personal pictures and family pictures, that's great. Do it on your personal page, because doing it on your public page to your patients, I would argue, is more of just like, I'm proud of these kids and I want to show them off. And it's like, that's not what's going to drive people into your practice. It's okay to show a personal picture every once in a while, or maybe a family at church, or like your family doing an activity together and saying, again, hey, do this activity, get out and get into the sun and run with your kids today. That could go over well. But like life experiences of your kids graduating school and talking about how proud you are of them, certain things like that. That just is not necessarily, like, you can do that in your story, but really that's for that personal Facebook page that you have with your friends. But for public Facebook page, public Instagram page, that's business. Like, if you want to use it for just looking for cats, get a burner profile and look on cats. But on your public page, it needs to be, this is how your public page needs to be set up. You need to be following all just like your business page. You need to be following all doctors and people that give you inspire you to create better, awesome content. That's the only people you need to be following, right?
Absolutely.
And then your actual content needs to be, again, like the content we just talked about. You need to avoid all personal. Again, even the vaccine thing, I'll touch on that for a second because it's just obviously we have our everybody's got their opinion on it. I have a very strong opinion about it. How I go about sharing that information, like just put like let's put it this way, just posting if you don't feel comfortable to get up and post a video about it, just sharing a post on it that maybe is a very was written in a way that was more of this is our side, and it can create so much emotion that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Hopefully I said that the right way.
Yeah.
If you're willing to get on video and you have your research and you have your thing in front of you and you're like, hey, I'm ready to take it on, do a video.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're comfortable, and I mean, you probably can guess what my thoughts on vaccines are. I'm not going to say them, but at the same time, like if I'm not, like, do a video on it, because then you actually are saying it out there. And I just think that on social media, what doesn't work well is kind of just trying to like, oh, and by the way, here's a sweeping statement on this thing. Or sometimes we read something and it's like, ooh, because I am so deeply invested into that, I love that saying. That does not necessarily mean you need to share it. That also goes for on your business pages, especially if you're a chiropractor, like personal development doesn't need to go on your page. Like, the person with anxiety that comes to your page and then sees a post on personal development, they're going to be like, or maybe not anxiety, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe asthma, and they see your stuff on personal development, like, well, I'm not tuned into the Bears game, like this is something else. I'm going to tune into another channel for help with my asthma, So, yeah, you just got to avoid all personal content, personal growth, cool graphics, when the Bears won, when they don't win. Like, all that stuff is great. That goes to your personal Facebook page. But I would argue you don't have enough time to manage multiple pages. Like, oh, and I'm going to have my personal blog, and then I have my personal thing. You probably have time to manage one page.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be serious about your social media, the page needs to be set up that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. So now I want to get to the question, and it's from Taylor McLean, and he's actually going to be graduating. He goes to Life University. He's going to be graduating, and him and his girlfriend are opening up a practice in Asheville, North Carolina. He says, question on Google marketing. In school, we can work on the social media aspect of our marketing and populating the social media profiles of our business. But for Google, because we don't have the business address or open for hours yet, what could we be doing in the meantime to grow how we look on social search engines like Google while we wait to open? So how do they optimize their search results while they don't have those exact business addresses and hours quite yet?
Okay, so that's a good question. Now, I'm going to answer that in a different way for different people. If you're the type of person that says, "Hey, I'm going to go all out and I'm going to spend real time. I'm either going to start writing a blog on a regular basis, and try to rank for certain keywords, and really do SEMrush research, or you can afford, like if you're a doc in practice and you can afford someone, or you don't have this set up yet, and you could afford someone to really like build a strategy and execute on that strategy. There's a lot of great agencies that can do that, but you can also learn it yourself. So if you're the 1%, only 1% of you should learn it yourself. So most people should not. But if you're very tech savvy and you're a good writer, it may be okay for you to do it yourself. And if that's the case, then build a page on, a specific health, a specific type of health topic, and target people in your local community, and talk about, start to think about, we talked about before, like who your target audience is, what's the type of practice you want to have, and start writing strong articles on the top questions and topics on those practices. Now, if you need help with that, you can go to blogs and forums that moms are in. Maybe you want to run a pediatric practice, go to blogs and forums on pediatric for women with kids with pediatric issues, and look at the questions that people are asking. Mm-hmm. That can really help you. Also, SEMrush will give you, hey, these are the keywords that are really strong right now. So that's like for the 1%. Yes, you can use SEMrush. If you have any questions on that, you can send me a direct message. I'll kind of give you some resources on that. If you need help with that. But I would say that that's really for the 1% because that's a lot of work. For everyone else that doesn't have, and we're talking about Google location. and not having Google locations, not really being able to rank for keywords and search terms and all of that. I would say that you really need to focus on getting good at video. Mm-hmm. You need to be posting on a regular basis. You need to get in the rhythm of posting on a regular basis. You need to start creating content in chunks and saying, okay, I'm taking this seriously. I'm going to spend one day for 6 hours and create content and schedule it all in Buffer, send all that out. I don't care. I don't care if the topic is about of that content is about you going through school. It doesn't necessarily need to be. It's whatever's you're most passionate about right then at that time. Mm-hmm. It's just getting it out there. It's like when you had that speech class in undergrad. Dude, speech class, I just remember it was just like I couldn't even and I'm like, dude, I'm a tough guy. Dude, you're a tough guy. It's like you could do this. And it's like the fact that you get out of practice and you make that first video for your website and you're like, and if you want to come to our practice, it's and again, maybe you don't get the shakes like I did, but you're not going to effectively communicate because the camera, you're not comfortable in front of the camera. So content is king. So I would say one thing that you guys can be doing is really becoming strong at creating content, creating videos all the time. When I talked about curating or looking to see where you can opportunities to create content and wow, look at this. Or I just hiked Kennesaw Mountain. If you go to Life University, I just hiked Kennesaw Mountain at the top. What we were talking about with those 3 levels of kind of understanding. To start, the first thing to do, just get on video, share, and be like, yeah, I think this fits in this level or this level or this level, but that can be confusing if you don't actually have your patients in front of you yet. Right. But the truth is step 1, start doing video. Step 2, start incorporating those level 2s, level 3s, level 4s, even just to your general group. Just you can make a doctor's page on Facebook, right, and just take the doctor out and just say, I'm a student and here sharing health information, right. I'll be opening in this town, this area, right? And you can do some post boosts to those areas. But I would honestly not do that, to be honest with you, because people don't want to people don't necessarily want to go to a doctor that just got done being through school and now he's ready for practice. That's kind of, especially your first couple of years of practice. I grew out a beard and I was I'm a little older than but really, again, the biggest thing is just being really strong on video, and being comfortable in your own skin, knowing who your audience is, knowing what type of guys. Dude, this is a big thing I'll say, because I've been really on this trail for the last couple of days. Is you need to go after, as a student, especially for the students who are listening to this, you need to set what you want your life to look like right now. Because you're going to get out of school, and like everybody else says, and it's true, life will hit you across the face really freaking hard, right? It's no. You thought that because you're a wizard in this club, that every other patient was going to say, hey, dude, you're a wizard, man. Just adjust me. The best chiropractor in the world does not have the most patients. It's the one that speaks to a certain audience and then gets really good at a specific type of care. But starting to determine and vision, when I said at the beginning, visualize, we could kind of start to close with that, but visualization is so important, and visualizing what you want, because the truth is when you jump out of school and you don't have a plan for what you're looking for, what type of practice you want to have, where you want to live, what you want to do, you really just get hit over the head with a ton of bricks, and some docs are I'll pay you $25,000, and you're like, what and where? It's in the inner city, and you're like, no, but this is my only opportunity. If you start visualizing it now, you're going to start to make decisions now that will, by the time you graduate, will start to, and even after you graduate, will continue to develop into what you want your ideal life to be like. And I know this is kind of a little bit of self whatever, but it's true. If you just go out and say, I'm just going to go try to figure this out, and I'm just going to focus on technique right now and not worry about the fact that I have to attract people into a business, you need to set what you want now. Set who that audience is. Set who that perfect patient is for you. What does your practice look like? Who's coming in and out? Are there pregnant moms? Is it more older people? Is it more athletes? What does it look like? And start to speak that into existence and let people know about that, because that's what's really going to start to evolve. That's going to start to evolve what type of content you create, right? That's why it's important to know that, because what makes you on fire, what puts you on fire, and really start to visualize your future, because that's what's going to determine your content. That's going to determine whether, hey, do you want to spend all your time studying SEO and trying to get your website prepared, when you could be focused on becoming an expert. It's like this might be a little bit easier and not less camera time, but this is what's actually going to drive your business forward in the future. So, yeah, I felt like that was important.
Love it. I love it. Yes, it was important. And I want to just quickly, before I give you closing remarks, because we're coming up on 55 minutes here, this was an absolute stellar podcast, and I'm so excited to go back and watch it over and over and over again. So I really broke down what everything Dr. Touhill said in this podcast into 4 major steps. And I would say actually 3 major steps, but we start at step 0. And step 0 is what he just mentioned last. And that's visualizing and becoming really clear on what you want and what you want your future to look like. You have to have the mindset right. You have to have the subluxation between your ears cleared before you go into any type of business or any further development into yourself, your business, and your professionalism. Step 1 then, so that was step 0, visualization. Step 1 would be model and time management. You got to become really good at modeling other people and looking at what are successful people doing, attracting that energy, attracting that vibe, and then re-putting it out into your own unique style. Because everybody, like Dr. Touhill just said previously, everyone has their own message, everyone has their own passion, and you'll get that through visualization and clarity, but you'll also get that through modeling of like, okay, these people are really doing what I want to be doing. How do I translate that into apply my message to that? It's the same message, but how do I put my spin on it? How do I add my passion? How do I add all of the things that I want to portray to my future patients and my ideal clients? How do I do that? Step 2 would be being comfortable on video. You got to be comfortable on video. Content is king, and I love that you said that. It's absolutely true. And then you can do so much with organic reach these days. And a lot of people like to crap on that, like, oh, organic reach is down or whatever. It's probably because you're not doing it right. Yeah, algorithms change all the time, but don't play the blame game. Especially in digital marketing, you'll never win that. You'll never win that argument. So you might as well, like you said earlier, you might as well join them, and you might as well do everything you can that is in your comfort level, and step into yourself on video and be really confident with that. And then step 3 is implementing. And you briefly mentioned that, but the taking action on all of this is step 3 and the last step, because that's what's going to actually get your videos out to the public. Like, you can make a video all day in your house or your apartment like I'm doing right now, but if nobody sees this, it was useless. It was pointless.
Right.
And so I really wanted to emphasize, like, start implementing, start taking action on this, and and start really applying those different levels of awareness that you talked about earlier in this video. And if you missed it, please go back and watch it. So thank you all so much for watching, Doc. Please close us out with something you want to share, any action steps that people can take to better contact you or get involved with everything that you're doing.
Yeah, man, I'm going to close off real quickly what you just mentioned. I think you hit the nail on the head with, it's playing the blame game. And let me tell you this, I'm going to give you some stats. Google made it, and we'll talk about censorship just real quick in closing and how we're going to navigate through that. But Google made a lot of updates recently, and I mentioned drax.com. I don't know if you've heard this yet, but drax.com went from over 30 million viewers to the website to 4 million overnight, right? And since then we've been able to rebuild, and a lot of it was the fact that what Google and Facebook believed to be fake news was if it didn't have an MD on top of it, it was fake news, right? And that's how it's that's. Unfortunately, that's how it's going to be moving forward. Yeah. So we had to get a medical board on staff and follow their game. And one of the things I'll say is the reason we were able to navigate through that and still stay on top, and we're still crushing, they're still going very well on social media, is for exactly what you just said. We don't play the blame game. At the end of the day, this is scary, but Facebook and Google have a lot of freaking power over what goes out. They can see everything that we do. Everything that we're doing right now, even this conversation, everything's getting analyzed, it's recorded. They're making sure that it's a safe environment. Now, where that can you can run into a lot of issues with that is people don't know, we don't know who's determining what is true and untrue. The vaccine topic. I mean, obviously with the current laws, it's the belief is that it's the right thing to do. So, and I'm not saying, I'm not having a stance on that, but I'm just saying that will be censored, right? And so even in your groups, this is not like a theory. Our website went from this many to this many, and all it was medical articles replaced us, right? So this is not like let's talk about conspiracy theories. It's like literally right in front of us. It's not, there's no theory. In our Facebook groups, there's rules on Facebook groups, and if you have fake news Facebook groups, they say at the bottom of your group, if this is risk for this, we will not share this content. So if you're wondering why your content's not going out, one, it could be because the fact that you're not following the directions that you need to be following in terms of saying the right things online, and you're making certain claims. And again, if you guys have any questions on that, jump in my social health experts group. Actually, I think we have renamed it to Health Business, but we have Health Business Builders. If you go to Health Business Builders, I have a PDF in there on terms that you can and can't use in terms of health rules. So just to your question what you said at the end there about you post something and Facebook's not working and all this stuff. If you're not using the right terms in the things that you're saying or writing down and saying, I will heal you of this, or we fixed this, or in a testimony you say this and this, Facebook is no longer banning saying no, you can't post that, right? That would just think about it. It would create so much havoc. Like, I can't say this now, I can't say this. No, they let you say it. They just don't show it to anybody, right? Because it doesn't follow what they believe is true. Yep. So you have to use follow their directions on that. That's number one. Number two is exactly what you said. Like, if you're not getting any likes on your post, maybe it's because you're in the back corner of a dark room and you're like, hi, my name. Like, get in front of people. Be out there, let them actually know and have confidence in you. Like I said, the algorithm blesses you. If you continue to get more people to like your stuff because your content's engaging and more people are seeing it and sharing it, that you're getting more views. Facebook loves that because they want people, and Instagram loves, they want people to have an organic experience. So I'll just say this, it will always be an ongoing strategy, and I said before we get wise counsel, but it will always be an ongoing struggle. But there's also such a great benefit of being able to go online during a health talk and streaming your health talk live. You have 30 people in front of you and 300 people in front of you online. Mm-hmm. It's that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So it's the power is still there of social media. We just got to approach it from the sense of this is going to be here. It's here to stay. And we have to, if we're going to have to be successful with our chiropractic message and getting a message out there and getting people into our practices, we have to play the game.
Absolutely. I love that you ended with that. You have to play the game, and it's not your game, right? I'm sorry, guys, right. But it's not our game. It's their game. We're in it, and if we want to utilize it and become really good, we have to follow the strategies and the things and the success tips that are being given to you, and that already we know to work. So it's listening to podcasts like this, listening to podcasts like yours. Speaking of which, the Within Reach podcast by Dr. David Touhill is phenomenal, and everybody should go listen to it. And so it's things like that surround you with these strategies. And yeah, do they change every day or every week? Yes, they do. But at the same time, it's if you're doing everything right, like you were saying, your stuff will populate in front of more people. And they will let you post it. They're not going to be freedom of speech. No, you can't say that. They're going to be go for it. Say whatever you want, but nobody's going to see that.
Yeah, and don't get overwhelmed by the fact that there are certain rules. It's not overwhelming, dude. I'm just telling you right now, we do a great job. I have dozens and dozens of case studies where we do a great job. I have a client that has a chiropractic practice that has 3,000 members that are following his public page, and organically he gets 120,000 people to come to the page from the local community. Awesome. And he gets over 30,000 interactions. So it's he's crushing it, and all he's doing is posting every single day and following the strategy that I just mentioned to you. So it's very, very possible. It just requires consistency and saying, hey, I'm going to play. I'm going to play the game. So
yeah, and I like consistency too. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but I would almost link that up with consistency and content are kings, right? Those are the bomb. And you said, I want to mention consistency is we considered it 6 times a week, and you post 2 educational videos, 2 barrier videos, and 2 come on in and enjoy the fun in the office videos, and those all go with the levels of awareness that we talked about earlier in this episode. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. David Touhill, man. I am so excited for people to see this, to spread this word around the virtual social community of Facebook. And I know you got to run, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on the show. And thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to head to thelegendarychiropractor.com to check out everything chiropractic that you could possibly want. Love and appreciate every single one of you. Have a great, great rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.